You see that you and I are of a different stripe, don't you? We don't have to dream that we're important. We are.
Well, a whole year has passed now, and you know what? It's that time of the year again where the annual baseball games come out. And just like last year where I talked about MLB 10, the show, this year it's MLB 11, the show. Now, what has really changed over the past year to warrant another purchase of the show? Now, obviously, there are huge differences between MLB 06 and 2011. But what about 09, 10, and 11? Is there really that much of a huge, significant difference? Is it really worth the investment to plunk down the $60 again for what could essentially be the same game? Well, to stay relevant, to stay competitive, to stay modern in this very competitive gaming market, MLB The Show has indeed improved again. Did not stay stagnant, and I guess if they went along what they did last year again, they would have probably stayed. They would have been considered something that is becoming like archaic, because in today's day and age of video games, it seems that having the player more directly involved in the action seems to be the direction that this industry is heading. I mean, we obviously have seen several years of the Nintendo Wii. The Kinect is now out for Microsoft, and then PlayStation has the Move. So it really seems that's the way games are going to be heading. So to have a game that really depends on the old was dependent on the old style is now changing itself. So the show 11 prides itself on the analog controls, and we're going to get into depth about that because that's really the big difference and the big draw of this year's game. And obviously there are other little nuances that make the game even better. And I said MLB 10 was the best game on the market in terms of baseball. Well, MLB 11 just surpasses it once again. So this is indeed the best baseball game on the market. But let's get more in depth about it. So MLB 11, this show, has a couple of big differences this year. I already mentioned the PlayStation Move compatibility. Unfortunately, I cannot get into that because I don't have the Move. I opted to get the Kinect instead. And, well, anyway, the Move is only for the Home Run Derby. But just imagine how awesome it would be, right? But on a side note, the Kinect is really cool. Another big feature this year is that the game is 3D compatible. So if you have one of those 3D televisions, that would really be an awesome experience. Unfortunately, I can't do that because I still have a tube television. Anyway, let's get to the finer points of the show. So the setup of MLB 11 is, I love the new menu. It's just so, the open air stadium, Target Field, where the Minnesota Twins play. It's just like a really very cool, sleek looking menu. Much better than years past. So let's get into this. I also love how you could just select like the different hats and the different uniforms as you like it. You know, usually it's just so much better. It's much more intuitive and user-friendly this year. So as you can see, the game looks absolutely stunning once again. But here we go with this wacky pitching analog style. Definitely something that's very hard to get used to. I mean, obviously, the better your pitcher is in the game, the better he's going to be overall. If you have like a very mediocre pitcher, it's going to be tough. But it's a lot of it depending on the right joystick. And I would say that the pitching, I always liked the pitching in the show. I always thought that was my favorite aspect. And for the pitching, it's going to be hard to get used to. But here, well, I struck out Ellsbury, no problem. Hitting is probably the best overall improvement to the show here, because now you have to incorporate a stride. Down on the joystick gets the stride going. Here, you see it here. You see Reyes? He's getting the stride. I'm pressing down on the right analog joystick, and then I got to quickly swing up. It's all about timing, but you really feel like you're getting into the cerebral match between pitcher and batter, and that really never really happened before. I always thought the hitting was good in the show, but really now it's better than ever. Now let's just see it again, actually. Angel Pagan now up at the plate. Waiting for the pitch. There's the stride, see? So, see? It's tricky, but it's something to get used to. When the pitcher releases the ball, that's the time to stride and then really time your swing. Now, clearly not doing that well. Let's do one more pitch.
Yeah, and both these pitches have been strikes, but neither's been in a spot he can drive.
And this is off the
Oh, and I pretty much struck out, but still, pretty cool, right?
0-2. Another 0-2 coming. Now a swing and a
Fielding is also pretty cool. It actually is much more like important in this year's game than it was in years past. You have to use, again, the right analog stick to do the throwing. You press that stick too hard, and then your ball is going to start sailing. And look at this. This is also something new, a pitch-by-pitch sequence. You didn't see this before either. Really awesome. So that's MLB 11 for you. I mean, there's so much to cover in a game like this. And obviously I focused a lot on the controls because that's really the big draw of this year's game. And if you're not a big fan of the controls, you can always switch back to the classic controls from years past. But you know what, to be honest with you, I was pretty skeptical about these new analog controls because I didn't know what to expect. You know, I didn't know how good could it really be. It's just the right joystick, you know? You're flicking the joystick around, how good can it be? But you know what? Considering a lot of the action of this game is dependent on this right joystick right here, it's very intuitive. I mean, it really is. It's actually pretty impressive. You know, like I said, you know, the hitting, I would say the hitting is the best part. You know, it really, like, you know, including the stride in the at-bat, and, you know, again, you got that really awesome just like mental play between the pitcher and the batter. Really, that cerebral experience, as I mentioned, is huge in this game. You know, the pitching is kind of, you know, a little tough to master, but you know what? Again, you have that direct control over the action, how fast the pitch is, how slow it will be, where's the location, you know, outside of the plate, inside on the batter. It's really a great system. And then you have the fielding. You know, the fielding was very basic in the previous games, but this year there's so much more emphasis on that. You know, the ratings for the field, you know, for the individual players, their ratings like affect how they play. You know, like players will have different reaction times in the field, so those things really matter now. And of course, there's the analog controls for that too. So a lot of it is dependent on you. So it really just puts you in the experience of baseball. And this game really did our national pastime a lot of justice, because this really is the best baseball game ever made. You know, I know I said it last year, but this game really is an improvement, and it just gets better and better every year. You know, I can't say that for MLB 12 yet, but you know what? For now, MLB 11 is where it's at. You know, I know there's the 2K11 for baseball out as well, but you know what? To be honest, I never thought 2K baseball games were really that good. You know, they just always seemed like stilted and it just not like user-friendly. I just never thought that. And that's why I continue to recommend the show year in, year out. If you want to play a good 2K sports game, stick to NBA 2K11 with Michael Jordan on the cover, because that is a great game. That's the best basketball game. So, as for baseball, stick to the show, because that's what you want to play. No offense to you 2K fans out there, because I'm sure there are a lot of them, but the show is where it's at. So, and also there are other great modes as well in the show. You know, like the online play is very good, with the new co-op mode as well. And the franchise mode has even seen some improvements where, you can't just trade one guy for one guy. You might have to include some prospects as well. So it gets you really into the baseball experience. Really, it's very impressive. So with all that said, it's worth going out there and paying the $60 again or whatever it is, you know, to get the show, because it's the best. So with that being said, that'll do it here from Ethos Reviews. Be sure to check back here on our YouTube channel for the newest video reviews of video games or music albums or whatever, because we make them all the time. We're happy to be here and to make these videos, and we appreciate the support that we've gotten here for Ethos over the past year and a half now, and it's just a heck of a lot of fun. So thank you for all your support, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.